3, 2, 1. What's going on, everyone? You're watching Ash on Comics. My name is Ash. And I got a comic review for you. This, in case you couldn't guess it, is Avengers Mech Strike. Issue number 1. Look at that gigantic one that they put on these covers to sucker you in. They know who their audience is. They know that number 1 is going to sell at least twice as many copies as any other number, because for the past, 30, 40 years now, speculators just can't wake up to the truth of things that big number 1s aren't valuable because there's a million of them. Of course, not anymore, because the comic book market crashed, and only the diehards are left. Anyways, I'm not here to talk about that. This is a book I read expecting to hate. I was like, oh, juice. I was salivating. I was like, oh, this is going to be so great. I'm going to read this book, and it's going to be so full of awful. It's going to make for a great review. And I didn't hate it. Honestly, it's not really a bad comic. It's not a great comic. It's maybe arguably not even a good comic. It's kind of silly, but it's not as silly as you would think. This is quite literally Pacific Rim meets Avengers. Have a baby, spit it out, boom, here you go. That's what this is. Do you like Pacific Rim? Of course you do. Do you like Avengers? When they're good, you say, okay, yeah, there you go. This is this book for you. If it was a crossover mashup book, Avengers Pacific Rim, maybe. I don't. Here's the deal. Jed MacKay is the writer. Carlos Magno is the artist. This is in some ways kind of a comic book we want. I've been saying for the longest time that Marvel Comics needs to mesh up with Marvel Entertainment, the movie division. You can't be making Avengers movies and Captain America movies, etc., and then they're radically different from the comic books. That was one of the dumbest things I'll never understand. You create the most successful movie franchise of all time. You make the most successful movie franchise. And at the same time you do that, you decide to go radical left turn with the comic books. That's when you choose to make your comic books completely different than they've been for the previous 50 years. That's when you choose to do it. No. When the Iron Man's movie's coming out, Iron Man the comics needs to be very similar. So the guy who saw the Iron Man movie and was like, this is awesome. Maybe he was like, I used to collect Iron Man when I was a kid 20 years ago. I might go check it up again. I can't even speak. I might go check it out again because it's brought back these nostalgic feelings. He walks into the comic book store and then he sees a little black girl run around as Iron Man. Now look, there's nothing wrong with little black girls. But that's not what the movie was about. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, make Tony Stark like the movies. Or close. Just close. Make him just like the nostalgic Iron Man that the movies were at least based off of. Thor, Captain America, Avengers. Like, when these people go to the comic book store and they buy up their Marvel books, they want a similar experience. This book gives that. I was shocked. Right from the beginning, this feels like an MCU movie with armor coming on. And there came a day unlike any other, when Earth's mightiest heroes were united against a common threat. On that day, the Avengers were born. And we get a big splash page, and we see a big giant kaiju monster that they're fighting. The art's not the best, but it's pretty. I think a lot of people are going to look at this and go, this looks cool to me. And that's fine. That's what you paid money for. Look at Thor. Looks like Thor. He looks awesome. Iron Man looks awesome. They even made Captain Marvel look pretty cool. The Quinjet looks like the Avengers Quinjet from the movies. This is the Avengers from the movies. They made the Hulk like the movie Hulk. Now, I'm not exactly saying go just radically change the Avengers right now and make them like the movie. I don't know. I'm not even saying that I want to read this particular group of Avengers. Spider-Man's not really an Avenger. It's kind of an MCU thing. But, like I said, if you are a fan of the movies, if you like Marvel movies, this book is going to feel like those movies. These are going to be the characters. They write Captain America, you can hear Chris Evans' voice, right? Hulk feels like the movie Hulk. I don't want to say Captain Marvel feels like Brie Larson. I guess Captain Marvel feels like you wish Brie Larson felt like. It's all here. And they fight this big monster. And look at, they do the thing that I say that comics need to do all the time and realize, hey, I don't have a budget. I can do whatever. So they let this monster just rip up the town, the city. We get some just great epic shots. Thor comes in. Look at this cool shot of him just blasting. What the hell happened when I grabbed it? Anyways, sorry, I knocked over my iPad. Thor just comes in, just tears off his jaw. But it still barely phases it. But it's epic. If you are a kid or teenager or even maybe young adult, I'm trying to put myself back at that age. When I got into comics, I was 13 years old when I started collecting. This would have been badass to me. That's what I know. And if I was a fan, we didn't have the MCU back then. If I did, I probably would have liked it even more. All the characters get their little moment to shine. Tony Stark feels like the Tony Stark from the movies, even though he looks like the Tony Stark from the comics. We get Black Panther's cool. He tells everyone, look, we can't beat this monster. He's done some research. Sum it all up. Minor spoilers. This giant monster, there's more of them. He's decoded it. Realizes we can't beat him. So he's devised these things and he's made giant mechs. AKA biomechanoid response units. Each customized to interface with your individual power sets and clad in vibranium plating, which should keep the biomechanoids from eating them. Now, you're going to need a huge suspension of disbelief here because apparently Tony does this within a week after they realize how they defeat the first one is because T'Challa dives into the thing's mouth, gets eaten, the vibranium, he can't absorb it, blah, blah. You read the book, find out yourself if you're interested. So Tony's like, hey, I'm a genius. I'm going to make a bunch of giant mechs out of vibranium. And somehow T'Challa got all this vibranium to Tony Stark's or the Avengers Fortress, because this is all done in the head of that Eternal thing. And whatever, who cares? This is just turn your brain off. Go suspension of super disbelief. You should know this coming in. It's Avengers in mech suits. You're not here for the ultimate realism of Avengers. You're here because you want to see Avenger mechs. And if you are going to get what you want. What I like, it's silly. But the book itself doesn't take itself silly. It plays it straight. So you might read this and go, oh, that's kind of silly. But the mood, the attitude of the book is not. It's not wink, wink, we're joking. This is a full-on Avengers. And Yeah. And so here we see on this page, this epilogue, Birmingham, Montreal, Kiev, Tallahassee. You can see these little boxes. That's what started it all. Basically, these boxes, they're designed to eat things like materials, and then they replicate, and they get bigger and bigger. Have you ever played that old video game, Katamari Damacy? Think of that. No one knows who created them, but we can see one of them goes off. It goes off. It's going to start turning. So we know next issue, Avengers are going to be called in to fight more kaiju in their giant mech suits. And presumably it's going to be a spectacular action fest full of big explosions and punching and cool mechs versus kaiju. That's what you want. That's what you're going to get. It really delivers on its promise. This is fluff all the way. You're not going to be getting, the next Watchmen but it's what comics are to do. And if anything of what I just described sounds entertaining to you, then maybe pick this up. If you got a kid who likes Avengers, he loves the Avengers movies. Maybe he's preteen to young teen. This might be a book to pick up for him. I honestly think, like I said, if you like the Avengers movies, these Avengers feel like those Avengers. I'm going to give this 3 stars because the 3-star rating for me is what a comic is supposed to do. It's not excelling in any great way. It's not failing in any real way. It's delivering. A 3-star review is a solid thing. You're not wasting your money. I can't really give it a 4-star because that's kind of when you're doing well. But if you're predisposed to this, or like I said, you're young or you have kids or whatever you think that are more predisposed to this, consider it a 4-star review. Bump that up. I was shocked. I really legitimately was. I would read more of this. It's fun. It's fun. Thanks for watching.